Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the video. I'm GetGoodGuy, and today I'm going to talk to you about Battlefield 1 players who only use one class, or at least only use one class the vast majority of the time, and also players who perhaps just avoid one specific class, because I know all three of those kinds of players exist, at least according to comments I've previously received. So before we get into this and talk about the ramifications and limitations of it, let me know if you're one of these people and why you choose to just use the one class, or perhaps simply avoid a specific class. I'd be fascinated to hear from you. And let's just make the point here, as I always tend to have to now, I don't mind if you play like that. It's totally up to the individual how they wish to play the game and what they enjoy. Someone will probably still get mad at me, because someone almost always does, because they didn't understand or take the time to listen properly, but alas, at least I tried, and most of you will understand that I tried. So anyway, using a limited number of classes. I may well be somewhat of a hypocrite here, admittedly, as I barely ever use vehicles. So if you want to level that at me, then that's absolutely fine, I accept it, and I will explain my reasoning. Well, I bought this game essentially for its first-person shooter aspects, so the vehicles don't really interest me, which means at least you can now understand where my thought process lies. But on the flip side, I don't understand only using one of the 4 infantry classes, and to some extent, I don't understand not using a particular one of them, hence why I want to hear from anyone that can explain such behavior in the comments below. It's up to you how you play the game, just let me know what your reasoning is. Because from my perspective, whether you paid for the game yourself or not, you're only experiencing a limited percentage of it. There are so many weapons, gadgets and playstyles that you really won't have any concept of at all. There are some things in the game that I didn't like at first, and it took me time to warm to them. So it seems unlikely that this will happen for those who choose to limit their experience so strictly. But again, yes, I don't really use vehicles, although I have dabbled with them a little bit. They just don't seem to interest me. But in Battlefield 5, I will be trying to kick this sort of habit of not playing them and get involved and do some tank and plane stuff, etc. So don't go too hard on me here. But on top of the points I just made, the players that don't use specific classes won't be able to develop their skills in the way that I actually mentioned just yesterday. That was in my video about challenging yourself with weapons you don't normally use in order to round out your skill set. So therefore, these players might not know exactly what strengths and weaknesses a certain class or weapon has, and therefore, they might not know the most potent techniques for countering them. And while I'm on the subject of countering things, limiting class usage also means that these players simply won't have options available to them that best suit certain situations. I'll give you a couple of examples. Firstly, say there's a tank causing absolute havoc for your team, but you only use medic, say around 99% of the time. The thought to change class for this situation never really even crosses your mind, and you're also sticking with your usual heals and revive needle combo. Well, that tank is likely to continue to dominate unless something drastic changes from your team's perspective. You haven't helped to remedy the situation, and this could be considered to be a direct result of you not using a certain class or classes. Then we have situation number 2 at the other end of the spectrum. Say your team is being pinned down by snipers. It's been like this for some time now, but you only play assault, and you can't help to pick off those snipers. Or perhaps you do use classes other than assault, but never the scout class, and you don't realize that you could have actually developed the skill set with which to deal with this situation and counter snipe. Maybe you have the skills to be a great sniper, but you never try. And there are so many more situations out there that just leave me a little confused as to why some people are so reluctant to expand their game. But as stated before, it really is up to the individual, and I'd love to hear from any of you who play this way. Give me and other people the information, help us to try to understand, and now that you've heard this, maybe consider expanding how you play, experience more of the game, maybe have more fun, and definitely get better and more rounded at it. Now let's go over to the Board of Awesome for the epic people who allow you to get content from me full-time by supporting the channel on Patreon. They are the main reason you're watching this right now, so thanks to everyone on here. If you want to join them on the Board of Awesome, the link to the Patreon page is in the description below and in my pinned comment. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you don't want to miss future videos, turn on notifications with the bell button and select to always be notified with the options tab that should then come up. And then feel free to like, share and subscribe. I'm GetGoodGuy, and I'll see you next time. Laters.